Great Queen Modthryth perpetuated terrible wrongs. If any retainer ever made bold to look in her face, if an eye not her lord stared at her directly during daylight, the outcome was sealed. He was kept bound in hand-tightened shackles, racked, tortured, until doom was pronounced. Death by sword, slash by blade, blood gush and death qualms in an evil display. Even a queen outstanding in beauty must not overstep like that. A queen should weave peace, not punish the innocent with loss of life for imagined insults. But Hemming's kinsman put a halt to her ways, and drinkers round the table had another tale. She was less of a bane to people's lives, less cruel-minded after she was married to the brave Offa. A bride arrayed in her gold finery, given away by a caring father, ferried to her young prince over dim seas. In days to come, she would grace the throne and grow famous for her good deeds and conduct of life, her high devotion to the hero king, who was the best king, it was ever said, between the two seas or anywhere else on the face of the earth. Offa was honored fair and wide for his generous ways, for fighting spirit and his far-seeing defense of his homeland. From him there sprang Eomer, Garmund's grandson, kinsman of Hemming, his warrior's mainstay and master of the field.
Heroic Beowulf and his band of men crossed the wide strand, striding along the sandy foreshore. The sun shone. The world's candle warmed them from the south, as they hastened to where, as they had heard, the young king, Oginnarth's killer and his people's protector, was dispensing rings inside his bawn. Beowulf's return was reported to Hygelac. As soon as possible, news from that the captain was now in the enclosure, his battle brother back from the fray, alive and well, walking to the hall. Room was quickly made on the king's orders, and the troops filed across the cleared floor. After Hygelac had offered greetings to his loyal thane in lofty speech, he and his kinsman, that hale survivor, sat face to face. Heregarth's daughter moved about with the mead jug in her hand, taking care of the company, filling the cups that warriors held out. Then Hygelac began to put courteous questions to his old comrade in the high seas. He hankered to know every tale the sea gats had to tell. How did you fare on your foreign voyage, dear Beowulf, when you abruptly decided to sail away across the salt water and fight at Heorot? Did you help Hrogarth much in the end? Could you ease the prince of his well-known troubles? Your undertaking cast my spirits down. I dreaded the outcome of your expedition and pleaded with you long and hard to leave the killer be. Let the South Danes settle their own blood feud with Grendel. So God be thanked, I am granted the sight of you, safe and sound.
Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, spoke. What happened, Lord Hygelac, is hardly a secret anymore among men of this world. Myself and Grendel, coming to grips on the very spot where he visited destruction on the victory shielding and violated life and limb, losses I avenged, so no earthly offspring of Grendel's need ever boast of that bout before dawn, no matter how long the last of his evil family survives. When I first landed, I hastened to the ring hall and saluted Hrogarth. Once he discovered why I had come, the son of Halfdane sent me immediately to sit with his own sons on the bench. It was a happy gathering. In my whole life, I have never seen mead enjoyed more than in the hall of that earth. Sometimes the queen herself appeared, peace pledge between nations to hearten the young ones and hand out a torque to the warrior, then take her place. Sometimes Hrothgar's daughter distributed ale to the older ranks in order on the benches. I heard the company call her Frau Waru, as she made her rounds, presenting men with the gem-studded bowl, young bride-to-be to the gracious Engled in her gold-trimmed attire. The friend of the Shieldings favors her betrothal. The guardian of the kingdom sees good in it and hopes this woman will heal old wounds and grievous feuds. But generally the spear is prompt to retaliate when a prince is killed, no matter how admirable his bride may be.
Think how the Heathobards will be bound to feel their lord, Ingolgeld, and his royal thanes, when he walks in with that woman to the feast. Danes are at the table, being entertained, honored guests in glittering regalia, burnished ring-mail that was their host's birthright, looted when the Heathobards could no longer wield their weapons in the shield clash, when they went down with their beloved comrades and forfeited their lives. Then an old spearman will speak while they are drinking, having glimpsed some heirloom that brings alive memories of the massacre. His mood will darken, and heart-stricken, in the stress of his emotion, he will begin to test a young man's temper and stir up trouble, stirring like this: "Now, my friend, don't you recognize your father's sword, his favorite weapon, the one he wore when he went out in his war mask to face the Danes on that final day? After Wethgil died and his men were doomed, the Shieldings quickly claimed the field, and now here's a son of one or other of those same killers coming through our hall, overbearing us, mouthing boasts, and rigged in armor that by right is yours. And so he keeps on recalling and accusing, working things up with bitter words, until one of the lady's retainers lies, spattered in blood, split open on his father's account. The killer knows the lie of the land and escapes with his life. Then on both sides, the oath-bound lords will break the peace, a passionate hate will build up in Ingeld's, and love for his bride will falter in him as the feud rankles. I therefore suspect the good faith of the Heathobards, the truth of their friendship, and the trustworthiness of their alliance with the Danes. But now, my lord, I shall carry on with my account of Grendel, the whole story of everything that happened in the hand-to-hand fight.
After heaven's gem had gone mildly to earth, that maddened spirit, the terror of those twilights, came to attack us where we stood guard, still safe inside the hall. Their deadly violence came down on Hansio, and he fell as fate ordained, the first to perish. Rigged out for combat, a comrade from our ranks had come to grief in Gendel's maw. He ate up the entire body. There was blood on his teeth, he was bloated, he was furious, all roused up, yet still unready to leave the hall empty-handed. Renowned for his might, he matched himself against me, wildly reaching. He had this roomy pouch, strange accoutrement, intricately strung and hung at the ready, a rare patchwork of devilishly fitted dragon skins. I had done him no wrong, yet the raging demon wanted to cram me and many another into that bag. But it was not to be once I got to my feet in a blind fury. It would take too long to tell how I repaid the terror of the land for every life he took, and so won credit for you and my king and for all of our people. And although he got away to enjoy life's sweetness for a while longer, his right hand stayed behind him in Heorot, evidence of his miserable overthrow as he dived into murk on the mere bottom.